So this video was a suggestion by one of you guys from the community tab. Thank you for helping us out and engaging with us. We really appreciate it and wondered ourselves how the members of the Black Bull actually joined. So pretty much it was a good idea. Props to you, give yourself a high five. Essentially in this video we are going to explain how every member of the Black Bull such as Asta, Yami, Vanessa and more actually joined the squad. With that, let's cue the intro. Alright, so a common theme between all the Black Bull members are their situational disadvantage. Now what I mean by that is the unfortunate fact that humans aren't born equal. They go through their own tests, trials and tribulations. Black Clover as a whole does a fine job in representing emotional complexity which we the audience also face in our day to day. And Black Clover, like most series, goes to a certain extreme to make these complexities easy to understand. And the clearest way in doing so is showing us characters from different backgrounds growing up accordingly. Like you must have noticed most of the Golden Dawn members excluding are from a noble background and have similar traits. They tend to be quite civil, conservative and very talented. Now the other squads also have specific attributes where their members usually share. When it comes down to the Black Bulls, unlike the Golden Dawn, they tend to be very outspoken, wild and out of place. It would seem that the Black Bulls is home for lost souls with broken pasts. Their whole reputation is known within the Black Clover world of being losers and not that great. I mean, in the manga chapter 105, it was announced that after a year of Asta joining, the Black Bulls somehow reached the second place in the amount of stars they have, with a total of 101. Not only were the members of the Black Bull themselves shocked, but even the public people thinking how is this possible, describing the Black Bulls as that wild rowdy gang of hooligans, saying it must have been some type of mistake, these losers can be second out of the best Magic Knight group. It was only after Asta joining and him affecting everyone that changed the Black Bulls to being one of the best, because the last year result states that they had negative 50 stars. Now obviously that didn't depict their strength as a squad, but the ability to achieve the stars overall. Now with that, let's look at each members individually and try to break down why they were destined to belong in the Black Bulls by briefly going over their past and story to why and how they joined. Starting with Captain Yami, he was born in the land of the rising sun, which would more likely be Japan in the Black Clover universe. Yami was raised within a fisherman family. Unfortunately though, one day as a young man, while Yami was fishing, his ship wrecks and washes him ashore in the Clover Kingdom. Now being a foreigner, Yami faces many troubles, which was due to culture shock and racial differences of upbringing. Many immigrants even in our world faces these issues, and Yami wasn't an exception. After some time, Yami participated in the Grimoire acceptance ceremony where he received his Grimoire and releases his dark magic. This actually made it much more difficult on him as it made others hate and fear him, because dark magic and all. With the exception of Julius Noble Chrono, who at that time was just the captain of the Grey Dares. Julius, due to his fascination of magic, invites Yami to join the Magic Knights and takes him on in his squad. Yami for a while enjoyed his company and trained under him and went to battles. Julius took on a mentor role, even going as far to teach Yami the native language of the Clover Kingdom, because remember, Yami was just an immigrant. Then after a while, due to his achievements and effort, he was promoted to the captain of the Black Bull squad. Okay, now let's talk about Vanessa. She joined the Black Bulls because of Yami. In fact, some of you may not have noticed, but some would say that Vanessa actually has feelings for Yami, and that is one of the reasons why she always asks him to go out drinking with her. Vanessa feels this way for Yami and owes him one because he literally freed her from a cage. Yes, Vanessa, just like the others, has had a terrible childhood. Vanessa is a witch, a powerful and gifted one at that. But what was a gift turned into a curse for her? This was because of her mother, the Witch Queen, who saw Vanessa as her greatest prodigy. This resulted in the Witch Queen locking her up in a birdcage for her entire life. Vanessa was basically in prison and told to practice her thread magic to perfection. This was because the Witch Queen had a vision that Vanessa would be the one that could control destiny, making Vanessa one of her most gifted daughters. Now, like any good mother, the Witch Queen wanted this prophecy to come true for Vanessa, but she ended up abusing Vanessa by keeping her locked up to the point where she never experienced the outside world or even met a man before. Vanessa wanted to experience life and learn about the outside world. Basically have fun like a normal person growing up. She even cried and begged, seeing other witches do what she wanted to do and have freedom. Many years later, once Vanessa grew up, one day Yami appeared. Yami invaded the witch forest where they live and had a fight with the witch queen. Yami admitted to Vanessa at this point that he probably is no match for the witch queen, but after his fight with her, he just happened to break down the walls that locked up Vanessa in that cage. Now Vanessa had never seen a man before, but she explained her entire life to him. Yami told Vanessa that she could live her life the way she wants to and she can control her own destiny. This is when Vanessa decided to leave the forest and join the Black Bulls, which was revealed in the manga chapter 82. This is why when Vanessa comes back to the witch forest to try and get Asta's arms to be healed by the witch queen hates her and says,
"Vanessa, since you left this forest, my plan has become something far from perfect. If you mastered the Fred magic as I told you, you would be able to control destiny, and yet you let that man Yami tempt you away." Okay, that was a bad impression of the witch queen, but you get the gist. The witch queen seems to hate humans because he even goes to say, "A man, a mere human man, how can you let Yami use you like that? Are you not ashamed?" Which would normally apply that basically she got, it went a bit more than just saving her. And that's basically how Vanessa joined the Black Bulls. Sorry for my creepy ass impression. Alright, now coming to Finral, we can all admit that he is a character that we can all relate to, right? I mean, who doesn't have parents that compares you to your siblings or other cousins? Like, I'm Asian, so this happens to me all the time. Now let's get into his story. Finral was born to House Warde. I hope I pronounced that right, I probably did not, but anyway, House Warde is a noble family, meaning Finral grew up with high expectations. However, Finral's father ends up having a second son with another woman, revealed in manga chapter 127. Finral revealed this during a battle with his younger brother Langris and claims they are still brothers that resemble each other. He still cares for him. Finral and his younger brother have a rocky relationship because as the two grew up, Finral's magic and talents were always overshadowed by his younger brother Langris. Finral even goes to admit in chapter 127 that "I may have never shown you anything like an older brother you could look up to." His younger brother responds by saying, "But you left everything and everyone and ran away from home, you weakling coward." This basically sums up everything, right? There is essentially a family feud and Finral doesn't see his value in the hierarchy. He decides to just run away from all of it. His whole family since childhood always saw him as a lesser human being that couldn't match up to the name and his younger brother. Since among nobles, power and magic and status is everything, this must have made Finral feel like shit. But not all is bad for Finral. After all, Vanessa Kalmarijk acknowledged his brother's superiority over him, but goes on to say that Finral is much more kind, which makes him a better magic knight. We saw this in manga chapter 126. This statement and childhood basically made Finral join the Black Bull squad. Yami most likely saw the despair within Finral regarding his family nobility, but also saw the courage to prove everyone wrong with the immense potential he has. He just needs a little push, and Yami's the right guy to do that. Alright, now moving on to Gauche. I hope I'm saying his name right, but at this point I already butchered every single pronunciation, so it doesn't really matter. Now Gauche, with his ciscon complex, had his fair share of hardships. Gauche was born as the first son of House Ideale, and sometimes after the birth of his sister Marie, their parents die in an accident, which is insinuated that it wasn't actually an accident at all. But either way, somehow another noble inherits their wealth and casts out Gauche and Marie. More than likely this might be delved into further detail later in on the series. However, during their time alone in the streets, to survive and protect his little sister Marie, Gauche does everything in his power, which included killing and stealing when needed. Eventually, Gauche gets imprisoned due to his action, and Marie is sent to an orphanage in Nern. A while later, Gauche actually breaks out of prison but is defeated by Captain Yami, who then invites him to join the Black Bull squad. Now Luck is actually one of my favourite members of the Bulls. He gives a sort of out of control killer vibe, and I like that shit. With Luck's story, like most of the Black Bull members, he also has a troubled past. Luck was raised in a common household at Iwan, which is a village within the Clover Kingdom. He spent most of his time under his mother's care. Unfortunately, his relationship with his mum had some ups and downs, as Luck seemed a bit crazy due to his inability to stop smiling. Just look at the kid, man. If I saw a smiling kid like this, I'll be shitting my pants. However, after Luck showed his battle ability during his school magic tournament by beating the crap out of a fellow student of a noble
childbirth, Luck's mother's attitude started to change. She showed him more affection and love. She began to hug him more often as he told his mom about his victories. Luck's mom would encourage him to keep winning in the future, a promise that Luck took to heart and tries to keep since then. Sadly, sometimes after, Luck's mama passes away, leaving Luck on his ones. And just like Gauche, he squandered around until a few years later, when Luck enters a Magic Knight entrance exam in effort to be accepted into a squad. In that process, he nearly kills his opponent during the combat test, which resulted in none of the captains being eager to recruit him into their ranks, except for Yami, of course. This commotion actually gave Luck his nickname, the Static Luck. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Zora is a character who pops up in this series a bit later, and his introduction was pretty slick. I mean, I liked his crazy characteristics, which initially made me unsure if he was a good guy or a bad guy. Now, after a couple of chapters from his introduction, it is revealed to us that he is actually a Black Bull member. His story goes as follows. Zora was raised by his father Zora Ideale, who Zora looked up to and respected a lot. When Zora was 12 years old, Zora gave him a doll to encourage him to talk more and break through his barriers. Unfortunately, you guys can probably guess where this is going to. The theme is painted throughout the Black Bull members, but sometime later, Zora dies on a mission with the Purple Orca, making Zora an orphan, as it's implied that Zora's mother is already dead or missing. Now, this wouldn't be such a big deal considering it is an honor to die while on a mission, but while visiting the grave, Zora overhears his father's squad mates admitting to killing Zara because he was a peasant associating with nobles. Like, what? Yeah, that's right guys, it's pretty messed up, but it is what it is. Once Zora learns of this truth, he starts crying and hides behind a tree, and later he begins his own personal mission of revenge by searching and taking out the corrupt Magic Knights. During his wandering journey, Zora encounters Yami. Both being from a position of low ranks in society, were able to understand each other quite quickly, and then Yami offers him a place in the Black Bull squad. Although Zora takes and keeps the robe, he doesn't wear it and continues on his mission, until he kinda rejoins later in the Royal Knight selection exam. Now Henry Legoland is another character who made a late appearance, so not much is actually known about him, although what we do know is that Henry was born a noble. But being a noble didn't help him in his case, as due to Henry's unusual sickness that requires him to siphon magic from others, him and his noble family was forced to live in the common region within the house, isolated from everyone else. A couple of years later, his parents left one day and never returned. They basically ditched his ass, or it seems. Who knows, they might have died looking for a cure. After a few months later, being alone and sick from his illness, on the verge of death, Yami finds him in his room and asks him to join the Black Bull squad. And that's it, that's how he joined. Now, as I said, there isn't much mentioned about Henry, but he actually gets along with everyone in the squad and even befriends Asta pretty easily. His character will more likely be delved into deeper later on in the series. Next up is Magna, and his story is pretty simple and similar to Asta. Magna, just like Asta, was born and raised in a village. In his case, it was called Rayaka. It is a village located near the border of the Clover Kingdom. This means that it is a village of a lesser born individuals with no status or nobility. Now, from this, we can pretty much tell why he joined the Black Bulls. Because there is not much backstory yet, we can assume with detail of how Magna life went. For example, Magna admitted himself that he has never truly had a real friend before. However, in a battle and within the Black Bulls, he finally admits it during the Water Temple Invasion arc in Manga chapter 64, that Luck is his rival and his first friend he ever had. He sees the Black Bulls as his family. This essentially tells us that Magna's childhood must have been dark and grim, just like the rest of the members. He perhaps got bullied for being different with his wacky haircut and became a thug, for example. That's why he acts all tough now with his current characteristics. Or maybe because he was from a poor background with no status, that meant true friends were hard to come by. That also makes sense. It is explained at 15, Magna joined the Black Bull squad, which also surprised all his fellow villagers. If you guys can remember in Manga chapter 8, when Magna thought he was going to die, he has a flashback of people from his village congratulating him. They even go on to say, "Yeah, we can't just call you a thug anymore. You are our pride and joy." In the same chapter, Magna even goes on to implicit the idea that he and Asta has similar backgrounds since they are from familiar villages. Magna must have joined the Black Bulls due to the same reason that Yami saw in Asta. Next up is Noel. But if you're wondering how did Noel join the Black Bulls, then you, my friend, must be watching the animes with your eyes closed. No offense, but it's quite obvious on what her story involves, since it's quite detailed throughout the anime. But I'm not gonna lie, I must not be the only one that watches the anime half asleep or busy munching snacks, thus missing out on important details. So let's try to do a balls deep analysis on why Noelle joined the Black Bulls. Now, Noelle is the epitome of a tsundere character. Characters in the Black Bull universe literally break the fourth wall and call her one at times. But in our opinion, this is part of her charm and what makes her kind of awesome. A part of us does want her to open up and be herself. Oh, wait, that sounds kind of wrong. Noelle was born in the royal family of Silver. Being a noble makes her seem arrogant and vain, since this was a normality in her household of how they view the world. Because of this personality trait the noble seems to have, Noelle initially has difficulty in admitting her failures and what causes the problems she has with her magic. We can witness this in her introduction in Manga Chapter 5, where she misses her magic and says, "You happen to be standing in the wrong spot." However, slowly but surely, the Black Bulls and Asta have changed her personality and have affected her positively to become a better person. Noelle was rejected by her own family because being a noble meant living up to expectations. However, due to Noelle having no control over her magic power, she was seen as a failure by her own family and someone that was born with a defect. This caused Noelle to develop an inferiority complex. An inferiority complex consists of lack of self-esteem, a doubt and uncertainty about oneself, and feelings of not measuring up to standards. It is often subconscious and is thought to drive affected individuals to overcompensate, resulting either in spectacular achievements or extremely asocial behavior. Now, that's not all the damage that was done to her. Noelle, being the youngest and second daughter of House Silver, was basically constantly ridiculed and blamed by her father as well as her brothers and sister to be the cause of their mother's death, as Noelle's mother died after giving birth to her. So given this rough childhood and lack of skills, just like Asta on the same week or day when Noelle turned 15 years of age, she is inducted into the Black Bull squad over the captain's good grace after her own brother Noel Silver rejected her entry to his ranks in the Silver Eagle squad, since he saw her as unworthy and trash. When the manga started, we see Noelle meeting Asta for the first time. She clearly joined only a few days before him. Yami took Noelle in because he sees her vast magic potential and believes the Black Bulls can harness her power and make her become the person she wants to be. Noelle admires Yami's strength and appreciates the rare yet meaningful praise she receives from her captain. Now, there isn't much information about Golden, Charmian and Grey as of yet to determine the past to why or how they joined the Black Bulls. So in this video we won't cover them, but if you guys want to know more about these characters, then smash that like button and let us know in the comment section below so we know that you guys want a part 2 to this video. And plus, if this video gets over 3,000 likes, then we're more than sure to follow up. But anyways, last we have is Asta. We all know the story of Asta and how he joined the Black Bulls, and most of you guys are probably bored at this point hearing his story or already know the answer. Asta was born with no magic, no respect, no potential, no charm, no good looks compared to Yuno, an annoying voice, no parents, no wife, and gets rejected by Lily. He has no common sense, he is immature, he is loud, he's annoying, he's inexperienced. However, with all that said, we can't help but admit, I love Asta. He is my favorite character. Asta, although have so many flaws, he has that work ethic, aspiration and strong sense of justice that makes him comfortable in his own skin. He is an inspiration to us the viewers, as well as every single character in Black Clover that crosses paths with him. Asta joined the Black Bulls only after receiving no offers and everyone ridiculing him for being lowborn and having no magic. But that doesn't stop him from proving himself and defeating Bronzaza with ease. This is when Yami offers him to join the Black Bulls, a group of quirky people that all have flaws. Yami likely sees himself in Asta at times and thinks he's the perfect fit for the group. Yami is the captain and knows how individuals are. Before the group meet Asta, they were the opposite. They lacked motivation, aspiration and teamwork to be able to reach their potential. Asta is the person Yami saw of having all of these qualities, despite having no magic. Therefore, Asta being so grateful for the offer and being able to achieve his dream as Wizard King, he can finally be a knight and join the Black Bulls, changing the group forever. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Although it was a brief recap of each members, this video did turn out pretty long. If you managed to get to the end, leave a comment letting us know you made it. And once again, if you want a part 2, then smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated. With that, I'll see you guys till next time.